Yeah, I know. Hi everyone, welcome to the Knit Shift episode 79. My name is Laura and today is Monday, January 9th, 2017. Thank you so much for joining me today. Whether it is a first visit to the Knit Shift or you have been hanging out with me for a while, I really appreciate that you're choosing to spend a little bit of your time with me today. There are so many wonderful knitting podcasts out there, and I feel very humbled that people like to spend time and chat about knitting with me, so thank you. You see my hand here. Gracie is sitting beside me. I open the blinds behind the camera to record this podcast every week, and it gives Gracie a perfect vantage point. She loves to sit on the couch, more specifically on my lap, and stare out the window. So yeah, I think that's probably why she likes to join me each week. I live in Norfolk, Virginia, where I'm a journalist. We just got probably 6 or 7 inches of snow over the weekend, specifically Friday night into Saturday. And part of my job is kind of coordinating news coverage and executing the print paper every night. So I have been very, very busy, which I'll talk about later. So it's my weekend. I'm off work Sundays and Mondays, and I am relishing my time off this week in a big way, but we'll talk about that more later. Show notes can be found at theknitshift.com. This episode is available on YouTube and iTunes, and I'd love it if you subscribed in either location. More on iTunes in a second, and it's good news, actually. I am on Ravelry as Yarnstormer, and I'm on Instagram as Laura Mahalski, and we do have a group for the podcast over on Ravelry. If you go to the Groups tab on Ravelry and search for The Knit Shift, you will find us. So about iTunes, I mentioned in the past few episodes that iTunes would likely be going away because it's an expensive proposition to keep hosting my storage on WordPress. It's $300 a year, and that gives me unlimited storage, so I could be chattering on forever and ever and still upload it and be fine. And that's how I get my episodes on iTunes. So about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I decided I would look into other alternatives. Well, I decided I just would stop putting this on iTunes. And some folks privately messaged me on Ravelry or on Instagram, and thank you so much. Some folks mentioned Amazon storage, which was really overwhelming for me. I wasn't really sure how to navigate all of their storage options because it was more business focused. And some people mentioned archive.org and mentioned that other podcasters store their episodes there. And so archive.org looked like the easiest, most logical option. So I started moving episodes over there. And then this storm prep hit, and I'm going out of town this coming week. And the logistics of moving 70 some episodes over to archive.org within the next 2 weeks just became insurmountable. I just couldn't do it. There was just no way. So I'm going to suck it up and pay the $300 to keep hosting on WordPress. And that way iTunes will continue. I'm not super thrilled about it because, like I said, it's a big expense, but with everything that's been going on right now, this has taught me I should have looked into alternatives well before a month in advance. Lesson learned, I need to start prepping if I want to move away from storing episodes for iTunes on WordPress. And I'm sorry to get into all this nitty-gritty. I'm sure you guys don't care that much, to be honest. But I need to look into alternatives a lot sooner. And I am a planner. That's my job. I love to plan in work and in general. So I'm really mad that I let this opportunity go by to plan better, and now I have to eat these costs. But a lot of you messaged me and said you really loved watching me on iTunes, but that you'd have to stop, and I completely understand that. And I'm upset, and that it makes me sad that people would have to stop watching. So I am going to eat that cost and move on with it and keep on keeping on. And so you guys can keep watching on iTunes, keep watching on YouTube. So yeah, that is it for podcast administrative stuff. So this episode, I have a few works in progress to share with you and a little bit of life chat about the past few days. The first work in progress I'm going to share with you is my Christmas socks, which are still not done. I am on the second sock. I didn't bring a sock blocker, unfortunately, but This is Langja Wool Action. It's a 75/25 merino nylon. It's a very hardy sock yarn. It's one of those nice German sock yarns. And I'm sorry for the state of my nails. I had a gel manicure and a shellac one about a month ago, and some of it peeled off, which I then learned I shouldn't do. And then so I've been trying to take it off with acetone at home because I just can't get to the nail salon. So my fingers are a bit of a hot mess, so I'm sorry if that offends anyone. So just don't look at my fingers. So this was the first sock. I finished this right around Christmas, and I love how this turned out. It's lovely burgundy and green, multicolored. And I'm moving along on the second sock, not as quickly as I would have liked, but this is 2 years in a row I haven't finished my Christmas socks before Christmas, so I guess it's becoming a tradition, if 2 years can make a tradition. I am above the heel though. Last time I showed it to you guys, I was right about here, and that was 2 episodes ago. So since then I've finished the leg, done my fish lips kiss heel, and I am now moving on up the leg. I'm knitting these on a Chiaogu size 1, which is a 2.25 millimeter. These are my favorite sock yarn socks. These are my favorite needles for knitting socks. I love the cord. It's a good flexible cord, but it has a little bit of memory, which I like. And the points are nice and sharp. And yeah, I really like these. I think I'd like to try a pair of signature needles someday. My birthday is in a month, so maybe I could ask for a pair of signature needles for sock knitting, but yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So on the first sock, this yarn came with some reinforcement thread for the heel in a coordinating color. And when I knit the first sock, I knit the bottom half of the heel and then forgot until I was on the top half of the heel to put the reinforcement thread in. So you can see the difference in how the bottom versus the top look. So when I knit the second sock, I made sure to remember to use the reinforcement thread for the entire heel. And I really do think you can feel there's just that little bit of a difference. I mean, the thread is really quite thin, but it's a nice little nylon thread here that will... Hi, Gracie. Yes, I know. I know. You cannot come on my lap, sweet girl. So I think it just adds a little something to give the heel a little more oomph. And Langja Wool is one of those really reasonably priced sock yarns. If you find yourself at a local yarn shop and don't feel like you can afford, you know, a really expensive, like a $25 skein of sock yarn, I think this is about $14, which is really a nice price point for some good sturdy sock yarn. So I really like this. And I'm doing my standard sock recipe. I cast on 32 or 36 with Judy's Magic Cast On. I increased every third round for a more slowly sloping toe. And I think this is a 68 stitch sock, so it's 68 stitches around. Like I said, I did a fish lips kiss heel, carried on up the leg also with 68 stitches, and then I did some 2x2 ribbing before I bound off with Judy's Magic Cast On. So I'm not really actively working on these because I started a new pair of socks, which I'll show you in a minute, but I would like to just get these off the needles. I'm not someone who can let sock projects linger. It kind of makes me twitchy. I just kind of want to, I'm not monogamous, but I just like to keep things moving, I guess you could say. So I feel like if I concentrated on these for a week, I would get them done, but it's hard when there's so many other things I want to knit, and it's really hard to motivate myself to knit my Christmas socks in January. So I'll keep plugging away at these. Maybe I'll finish them in a month or two. Who knows? And I'm carrying these around in a Mrs. Brown's bag. One of my faves. I have a new pair of socks to show you. Like I mentioned, I'm carrying this in an Erin Lane bag. I picked this up at SAF 2015. I decided I needed a new pair of socks for my travel. I'm going to Ohio in 3 days to visit my family, my parents and my brother and my sister-in-law. I have mentioned probably 8 bajillion times that my sister-in-law is expecting, and I'm so excited for it. Ooh, I'm watching people try and navigate icy parking lots, and it's kind of it's not rubbernecking till an accident happens, I suppose, but I am rubbernecking, watching people trying to get out of snowy, icy parking spots. Anyway, sorry about that. I decided I needed a new travel project because one of my works in progress is a baby sweater that I plan on bringing with me when the baby's born in March. Only 2 months away, can you believe it? I'm so excited. I don't really want to bring that because I don't want to knit on it because I'm staying with my brother and sister-in-law, and I want it to be a surprise when I come to the hospital. And I do have another sweater planned for the baby that I don't want to bring, and it's their college colors, so I don't want to bring that because it's super obvious who it'll be for. So I don't know. I'm not going to bring baby projects, but I do feel like it's my birthday in a month and 2 days. February 11th is my birthday, and I decided I would like to try and have a new pair of socks for myself as a birthday treat for myself. So that's what I cast on. I wound up my SAF 2016 yarn from Miss Babs. Miss Babs has a booth at SAF, and SAF is the Southeastern Animal Fiber Fair, which is held near Asheville, North Carolina, usually Halloween weekend or whatever weekend is closest to it. Let me untangle this a bit. So last year, I've gone the past 2 years with 3 of my girlfriends, and it's always an amazing time. And in 2015, we all bought the SAF colorway, and I think 3 of us have knitted up so far into various patterns. And this year, we all bought the colorway again. And I think I love this colorway. No, I know I love this colorway more than I love the 2015 colorway. This is the yarn. It is grays and deep eggplant purples. I wish this would focus better. Hide my hair so it picks it up. There we go. Whites and greens and lilacs and this lovely rusty, gosh, what is that? It's kind of an orangey red, I guess you could say. It's not really showing up well here. And there's some gold bits. Isn't that just amazing? She was apparently inspired by vineyards, and I can totally see where that comes from. It's just scrumptious. I'm gonna just go ahead and put I'm not gonna get up, and Gracie is lying down beside me and I don't want to get her up. I can see the tag, but I'll put it on the text bar below here. But it is Miss Babs. Miss Babs has so many bases, so I can't even try and guess. But I know it's an 80/20 superwash merino nylon sock yarn, and it's really scrumptious. I've never knit with this base before, but it's got a great twist on the yarn. And it's a plump fingering because it is 400 yards for 100 grams. Versus, 75-25 blends that are more like 440 yards or thereabouts, or 460 yards. So it's definitely a plumper fingering weight yarn. So I am using a size 1 needle for these. Again, they're Chiaogu 2.25 millimeters. I am probably 1 increase away from just knitting stockinette. I don't mention it a lot, but my default is stockinette, plain vanilla socks. That's just, I think my mind likes the simplicity of it, and I like to knit on the go and not have to, I like to knit in movie theaters. Not that I'm going to movies that much, but I just like to be able to not have to think about where I am in the pattern. So yeah, I'm really excited that these are 2 at a time. Also, there we go. Yeah, so I am really excited about these. I cast these on last night and knit on them during the Golden Globes. And last but not least, I have a sock yarn blanket to share with you. And it's only been a week, but I cannot remember where I was when I showed you this. I think I might have been done with the first 3 squares, or I was partway through this one. I can't remember. But I was fretting, and I just, literally right before I started filming this episode, I put a photo up on Instagram and said, I'm really worried that these blocks are too horizontal. What's going on? should I rip this out? Because I want these to be squares. I don't want them to be rectangles. And someone suggested that I just start knitting on top of them to see how it shakes out. And I'm hoping that that helps resolve the weird horizontal stretching out that's going on right now. So this, I'll go over these again. This is Jill Draper Make Stuff Esopus sock yarn, and I think it's like Rose Quartz might be the colorway name. Don't know the name of this. Was a trade from a friend. Don't know the name of this. It was a gift from a friend. This is Twist Fiber Studio Fairview Fingering, which is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon. And this is the Lakeside colorway. I just knit a pair of socks for my mom for Christmas out of this yarn. So I'm about halfway through the block. And the instructions on how I'm doing this are linked off of my project page. And I'm doing this the same as my last sock yarn blanket, except just bigger. Probably going to bring this with me to Ohio as well. I'm carrying it around in the finest project bag imaginable. This is a project bag by Ziploc. Very, very hard to get, very hard to come by. It's the gallon size. No one sells them anywhere. They're really hard to find. So I'm probably going to bring this to Ohio with probably 4 or 5 little mini balls of yarn and see how far I get. Because it's the perfect size to take on a plane, basically. Yeah, that's it for my works in progress, you guys. I have no spinning to talk about. It's just been a tremendously busy week for me, and even though I shouldn't look at spinning this way, I like to have a large chunk of time available to practice spinning. Like I feel like I just need to like familiarize myself with the wheel again and not just sit and try to spin, and that's just the way my brain is processing it, I think. And I really want to spin, but it's just I'm too busy right now. Work has been so crazy with the weather. We another manager on, without getting too into the weeds, someone changed jobs and left the newsroom where I work, and she worked at night and did a lot of the lifting at night, and someone is replacing her, but it's kind of a weird transition where that person's days off are changing, so I had to pitch in to help in the absence of the new manager. And so on Thursday, I was there till about 11:30 because they were shorthanded. Normally I work about 1:30 to 10 or 2 to 10, but I stayed until 11:30, which was pretty late for me Thursday night. And on Friday, I went in around 1:30 and I was there until 10:30 or so. We had early deadlines because we knew the snow was coming Friday night. So it was just, Friday was busy because I was doing my normal job and the duties of this new person, where I had to read every single story in the newspaper, kind of be the final read on it. And I had to do my normal job, which includes budgeting out the Sunday paper, page by page, so that someone can get an early start on it. I also had to pull, Congress was back in session, so we subscribed to a service where I have to compile the vote tallies of every lawmaker from the area who voted, and here's how they vote. You know, it's just a lot of whittling down someone else's work. But it ends up being, it's like, it starts as like a 200-inch file, and by the end of my edits it gets down to about 45 inches, but it's just a lot of minutia. Complicated with that was the fact that it was the first new Congress, and we had 2 lawmakers change seats. You know, 2 people were not reelected and 2 new people came in. So every week we run contact information for lawmakers. So at least I had the foresight to say, hey, we need to sub out this person and that person for the new guys, Scott Taylor and Don McEachin. And so I had to track down their contact info and their committee assignments. So that was another layer of work. Coupled with the fact that we were under only the 3rd blizzard warning in 30 years for the area. So that's kind of crazy. We did not have while there were some whiteout conditions and heavy winds, I don't think we technically had a blizzard. Parts of the area got 12 inches of snow, parts got 6 to 8. That was kind of the more common measure. But it sleeted Friday night and then it snowed. So everything that's outside right now, and it's been cold all weekend. So everything that's outside has just got like this much ice underneath it because it just dropped so cold so fast. And I'm going tangential here because of the topic, but they only plow main roads around here. I'm in Southeast Virginia, and they plow the main roads, but they don't plow side streets. And my driveway's on a side street, even though I actually live on a busy main road that they plowed. And the main roads are fine now, but any side streets, any secondary streets are a mess. So I'm staying put. I'm not driving anywhere. So I got home fine Friday night. I have not moved my car since. And I don't remember where I was going with that tangent. So Friday night, I drive home at 10:30 in the sleet. It was fine. I had volunteered to start a live blog Saturday morning with little tidbits of storm updates. So I was going to start at 6:30, but realized it would be better to start early. So when I woke up on my own at 4:30, I laid in bed for a little bit, and then I came out to the living room here and started work at 5:30, having left work 7 hours beforehand. So that was tiring because I worked for about 3 hours. I got a shower, I ate some breakfast, then I had to get to work, but because the roads were so snowy, I didn't want to risk driving my little car. So I walked to work, which was about a 40-minute walk. And it was lovely because the snow had just fallen, and it wasn't icy. It was just a perfectly fine walk in the snow. And I even stopped to help try and dig out some guy that was stuck in the snow, which was an adventure. And I wasn't successful, although I got so far as to get in his car and try and drive it out of the snow because he was from Alabama, and I was trying to give him techniques on, he was just going from zero to put the foot down on the gas, and I was like, no, you really need to like slowly ease your way onto the gas and build up, otherwise it'll just spin out. He's like, are you from around here? And I said, no, I'm from Pennsylvania. And he's like, I'm from Alabama. I just want to get home. I just got off work. So we were rescued by a couple guys in a big truck that showed up with some actual snow shovels, because we were using the tall end, the stick end of a broom. So then I got to work around 11, but I had to work the night shift. So I was there working until 8:15, and then I had to walk back home. So I finished my work day 16 hours after I woke up and got started, which was a long day, to be perfectly honest. I was exhausted. Josh came and met me at work and walked me home in the dark, and by then it was icy and messy and slick. So I am glad I had him with me. We were fine. We didn't slip and fall at all. So I was off after Saturday, but I did have to do some emails yesterday because through all of this, we're also launching a new budget system at my job this week. So, of course, and budgeting and managing the budget is a big part of my job. So I had to send a bunch of emails about that yesterday. And yeah, it was just, by the time I got home Saturday night, I was so fried. I slept for like 12 or 13 hours. And Josh left on a business trip yesterday. He started his new job last week, and he's in Chicago for 2 weeks for training. So I'm on my own. So after he left yesterday afternoon, I just hung out and I watched some podcasts and cleaned and did chores. And basically, today is more of the same. I got up and I made some orange rolls, and I've been sitting on the couch knitting, and after I edit this podcast, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm really going to relish this day off, because then I have 2 days of work, and then I leave for Ohio. So yeah, I'm really excited for my trip. I can't wait to see my family. So I think that's about everything. That explains hopefully why I was so pooped this weekend. I think I put a selfie on Instagram of my walk to work, but oh my gosh, I'm still tired, to be perfectly honest. I slept well last night, but I'm enjoying having a really lazy day and not really going out and about and talking to people and having to work, because so much of my job is being on and talking to people all the time. that I'm just really relishing the peace and quiet at home right now. So, yeah. So I think that's everything. I hope you guys didn't mind me blathering on about work for a little bit. So I will talk to you soon. Hopefully I'll record in a week, but I'll talk to you guys soon, okay? Take care. Bye.